To decorate my bird, I collected lots of colored papers that I found in a single catalog that we had in the house. The textures are all in the pictures, and the colors are fantastic, and I think the bird came out pretty well. But it's not exactly what I had in mind when I thought we would make a James Castle kind of puppet. So if you want, you can do it this way, or you can keep watching the video and see a different way. We can make maybe even a more interesting decoration for our stick puppet. Here you see all the papers that I used for decorating the bird. I also gathered around some other colors that I thought might be good for the color of the skin for the stick puppet. And that deep, luscious brown I thought would make great skin color. This is how you can cut the papers out so they'll fit the puppet. You can lay your puppet on top of the magazine and trace around it either with a Sharpie, a crayon, or a pencil. It's a little hard to see the marks because the Sharpie is dark and so is the paper, but I can see it even if you can't. I carefully cut around the edges, and you'll notice that the piece is a little bit bigger than what I'm going to need. I'm going to want to dress the puppet, but I want to leave room to make sure that the skin is going to be tucked underneath the clothes. I take another piece of a scrap cardboard to do the gluing on so it doesn't get on the table and it doesn't get on the other pieces, and carefully glue it down. I'm going to use the same paper for the arms and for the legs. I carefully cut them out, check them, and you'll see when I cut this arm out, I notice that it's full of white spots. I didn't want white spots on the arm, so I went back and got another piece. And now I'm about ready to start thinking about gathering all kinds of materials and textures and things to make clothes and hair and the other parts. Well, I looked around my house to see what we had in the interest of recycling, and because I can't go to the stores, and also because it's more fun to make things out of recycled materials and use our imagination than to use ready-made things like glitter and pom-poms and fancy stuff we can get in the stores. So you'll see I have some twist ties and string, matchsticks I thought might make nice flowers for her hair, we'll see. For her clothes, I found bits of scraps that were left over from making masks, and I also have some cotton balls. So why don't you look around your house, think about what you might be able to use for hair, for shoes, for jewelry, for feathers, for any outfit for your puppet, or for the skin, if it's a turtle, the scales. Look around, use your imagination, pause the video, and come back and I'll show you what I'm going to do with mine. See you soon. Well, when I started, I knew I wanted to put the flower in the front of the dress. And I laid it down and held it different ways to make sure the flower was in the middle. I used my Sharpie to outline the edges of the doll so that the dress wouldn't be too small. And I did decide I wanted it to be a dress. And then I cut it out. I cut enough so that I could decide whether I wanted it to have long sleeves or short sleeves. You can always cut fabric away, but it's hard to add it on later. Trimmed the sides and glued it to the shoulders. I knew I wanted to put a belt around a dress. I decided to use the ribbon instead of the string because it was fancier. It was very slippery, had a little trouble tying the bow, but I managed in the end. Now it was time to think about the hair. I had thought I wanted it to be an older person like me, but changed my mind and thought I'd try giving her red hair, which is something I always wanted. Curly red hair, in fact. Well, I tried to make it with the twisties, but the twisties just would not stick no matter which glue I used. So I thought, okay, curly brown hair would work too. And I tried to make it with the paper bag, and that seemed to work okay. Now I thought it's time for a face. And I thought I'd give her bright blue eyes to contrast with her beautiful dark skin. And it was a color that wasn't on the puppet anywhere else yet. So I found some paper with some good blue, and it seemed to be working quite well. For the mouth, I'd found some nice warm reddish purple paper that I thought would make good lips. They're lighter than her skin, and they're warm, and it doesn't look like too much lipstick or makeup. It has a pinkish glow to it, so I decided to use that. I don't know, something about all those bouncing brown curls look kind of silly to me, and I thought back to the white cotton that I'd originally picked up and thought, I'm going to try that. I'm going to make her look more like a granny. I thought I'd give her a little jewelry. I thought something bright and cheerful. A red twisty did the trick. I had peeled off part of the front piece of corrugated cardboard, which exposed the ridges in the middle, and they looked to me like they would make great soles for a pair of sandals. Some old blue cloth I thought would make a nice top for the sandals to hold them onto her feet. And the blue also matched her eyes, and I thought that was a nice touch. And finally, it's time to add the stick. First, I put a little glue to keep it extra secure. Then I add some tape, and we'll see how well it holds up. I can always add more tape. Once you think you've finished adding the layers of decoration to the puppet, you can go back and add tiny details with a fine point pen. I added her eyes, a nose, gave her a little smile. I might want to add some bows to her hair, or maybe some more jewelry or buttons on her dress. If you've got an animal or a creature, you might want to add more layers to the fur or feathers or tendrils of feathers made out of ribbons. If you've got turtles or fish, you can add more scales if you want, or add some of the decoration with a pen. And when you're done, put the stick on and you'll have your puppet. Hi, I hope that was clear. Yep, look who's here. It's my granny puppet. I thought her hair reminded, it's a little whiter than mine. And here's the bird. I hope that that was helpful for you. And I just want to remind you that if you have any questions or want to check in with me during the week, you can find me. I'll be up the Google Meet at 10 o'clock every morning from 10 to 10:30. The link is in the Google Stream. So if you have questions or just want to say hi, pop in, show me your work, and I hope you enjoy making the puppets.